Home. Chapter 36. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork by XAA on Tumblr. You can find a link to her Tumblr in the description box. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button and the subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest parts of your favorite fanfiction, as well as supporting the content creator. Bonus points if you leave a comment sometime in this video. If you don't know what to comment, put Marinette is Ladybug in the comment section. Thank you once again for tuning in for Chapter 36. If you haven't heard the previous 35 chapters because YouTube is funky, you can find a link to all of them in the description box. Now then, Chapter 36. Adrien aggressed. So Marinette is Ladybug, huh? It made sense in a weird, roundaboutish sort of way. She really was everyone's everyday ladybug. Adrien had somehow come so close to figuring it out years ago, but the blinders were on. Was it because he'd always thought of Ladybug as older than him? Or had he simply never thought the odds of knowing her in his daily life would be so high? Rolling over on his bed, Adrien contemplated, well, a lot. He thought about her, then about himself, and then about them as a unit, as a partnership, as a Wait a minute. A year. Cat Noir talked Ladybug's ear off about his amazing girlfriend for nearly a year. Well, actually, more than a year. He always thought she chuckled nervously because she was uncomfortable with how mushy he was when he gushed about Marinette, but he never stopped because sometimes she'd tease him about it or even ask questions like she was invested in his love life. All that time, he'd been gushing to her, about her. No wonder she was uncomfortable. It must have been embarrassment. Oh, no. Adrien covered his face with his pillow, too shy to scream in the comfort of his own bed. He'd gone from fangirling about Ladybug in front of Marinette to fangirling about Marinette in front of Ladybug. It wasn't the glow-up he wanted, especially now that he was connecting the dots. He'd embarrassed himself in front of the two identities loads of times, but when you combine those two together, Cat, had embarrassed himself more in front of her than any person had a right to be. Either this meant he failed at life, or she needed to be disposed of. Okay. He wasn't about to hitman out his girlfriend and partner, although he'd be red in the cheeks about it for weeks. How was she even dating him anyway? After all the dumb stuff he did in front of her? Between being a horrible sous chef in the kitchen with Marinette and burping flames into Ladybug's hair and catching her ribbons on fire, he couldn't tell why she was dating him. Sticking his legs in the air to swing their momentum forward, Adrien rolled from his back to his rump to sit upright, thinking with his head in his hands. All relationship embarrassment aside, last night did spark a change in his motivation, but it had nothing to do with Ladybug. The Akuma that landed on his plate literally changed how he thought about the world. No matter where or who or how he grew into a home, it would always be at risk if Hawkmoth was still in the picture. He was too out of it in the moment the butterfly landed to freak out, but now Adrien realized just what kind of bullet he dodged. Putting his thoughts of home aside, what if it were someone else? What if Hawkmoth sent a butterfly to another Parisian last night, and they saw it before their emotions caught up to them, and all they could do was sit paralyzed in fear until their free will became misguided, seducing suggestions? That's horrible, regardless of if they remember their akumatization or not. What kind of effects linger on the brain from something like that? He needed to talk to Ladybug about this. Actually, no. He needed to talk to Marinette about this, and unlike every idea he had before, a new option was open to him. Pulling out his phone, he scrolled to Bakery Bay and hit the call button. Hello? Marinette's voice echoed through his speaker.
Hey,
he said. "Is it cool if I come over this afternoon?" Yeah. Adrien could practically hear her relieved smile through the phone, despite the "yeah, dummy" tone she used. "Great. Should I bring food, or are there leftovers?" "Euros, please." "Cool. See you this afternoon." "Kisses." Adrien smiled to himself. Yeah, kisses. As much as he wanted to keep chatting, he didn't want to go there unprepared. They'd been trying to catch Hawkmoth for years, so why would today be any different? Adrien needed to come to the table with facts, and a plan that worked. It was rare for them to see Hawkmoth in the flesh, so they needed to find his home base. No, lair. Lair sounded cooler. Or bait him out. Actually, they would probably need bait even if they found his home lair. But Adrien wasn't a fool. He knew what Hawkmoth wanted. It was obvious from the start. He was the solution. But could they trick him? The last thing he wanted was Ladybug getting hurt or her family put at risk. With solution after solution on his mind, Adrien transformed, got food, and made his way to the bakery. Oops. A little early. Marinette wasn't home from school yet. Okay, well, Cat Noir Brain is attracted to that patch of sunlight on the rug, so Cat listened to his instincts and flopped onto the floor, bathing himself in its warmth. Yes. This was a perfect way to wait for Marinette to come home. Allowing himself to slip into the cover of darkness, Cat Noir came to the solution he needed, but not the answer he wanted when it came to taking down Hawkmoth. Ladybug wouldn't like this. He could already see Marinette getting angry, but he didn't see another option. His dad could protect himself, but Sabine and Tom couldn't. He'd leave them out of this. In the grand scheme of his budding plan, getting Marinette on board would be the hardest part. Whatever. He'd sleep for now and worry about it later. It was time for a sacred sunlit afternoon nap. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure to smash the like button on this video and leave a comment. If you don't know what to comment, put sacred sunlit afternoon nap in the comment section. I will catch you in chapter 37. Bye!